Today's video feature is how do we evaluate a South Carolina DUI case to determine its strengths and weaknesses. We understand that this is critically important to every client and they want that answer just as soon as we can give it to them. Oftentimes in the initial interview they'll tell us everything that they think we need to know about their case, and then they'll ask us, how does it sound? What are your opinions? What are my chances? We understand there's a lot riding on the outcome of this case. Now, we will certainly be happy to share with you things that we like about your case. For example, if you did not take the breath test, that immediately is a plus because we'd rather argue the unknown versus a number from a machine, even though that machine is just not reliable, and we'll discuss that in more detail in other videos. But we cannot give you a final answer or a final determination until we have seen the state's case in full. Now, always remember that the state of South Carolina has the sole burden of proof. They have to prove everything. You have to prove nothing. And if their case is weak or has legal errors, we may never get to your side of the facts. So once we get all the evidence, then we can sit down with you and go over everything in full. Now, how do we do that? Well, fortunately, South Carolina is an unusual state in that we have mandatory video recording laws. What does that mean? Well, everyone sees body cams on officers' uniforms. They see cameras inside police vehicles. South Carolina says you actually have to use those cameras and you have to preserve all evidence of the stop, field sobriety testing, the arrest, the ride to the station, and breath test videos. So we get two sets of videos. One is the roadside video and one is the breath test room video. Now, when you get your pieces of paper from the court upon your release from jail, one of those will be the breath test results. And at the bottom of that, there is an email address that you can actually pull up and watch your breath test video on your own. Now, you may not know the legal requirements. However, you can watch yourself on a better day and kind of get an idea of just how you appear to the average person. Do you look drunk? Do you sound drunk? Now, the roadside video is much more important, and the reason I say that is there are legal hurdles for the state, and if they do not cross those hurdles, then the case can go away. So the video has to show the stop unless there's an unusual circumstance, such as an accident. The officer may show up after the cars are stopped and people are out of the vehicles. But typically, the officers will be on the road. They'll see something they consider suspicious. They'll turn on their blue lights. Now, the cameras are on all the time, but when you activate the blue lights or turn on the camera manually, it goes back 30 seconds, which is a pretty decent amount of time, and starts recording. So effectively, the jury is able to go back to the night of the arrest and see everything for themselves. You'll see the officer get out of the car, walk up to the window, ask some questions, ask you to get out of the car. Then you'll see the officer administer field sobriety testing. Now, if there's not sufficient recording or video of that part of the arrest, then that portion of the video is excluded or suppressed. But the most important part is the arrest and reading of Miranda warnings, and that absolutely has to be recorded, both video and audio. If not, that can be fatal to the state's case. We also take a really hard look on the ride to the station because people do not like silence, and there's some awkward silence, and a lot of times clients will start talking to the officer and share things that we would rather them not. You've been advised that you have the right to remain silent. It's the first one, and we encourage you to please exercise it. Take a nap while you get to before you get to the station, and then when you get there, then we'll deal with the breath test video. Same thing there. There are certain legal requirements. The officer has to read your implied consent rights. They have to check your mouth. They have to wait 20 minutes for any mouth alcohol to clear, and then they have to record the test itself. If they fail on any of those types of issues, then we may be able to suppress the breath test video and or any result. So once we review all video evidence, then we have essentially seen everything the state has to use against you, and then we can make a determination on whether this is a good case or a bad case. Also in South Carolina, we are able to negotiate with solicitors, prosecutors, and we will review your video and also any plea offers that they make. and we will go over everything. We'll answer all of your questions, and then you will decide how you want to proceed with your case. If you want to accept a plea offer, we will do that. If you want to go to trial, we will do that as well. It is your decision. You will not get any undue pressure from us whatsoever. We would ask that you listen to our counsel and guidance. That's what you've paid for, and that's what we will deliver. This is a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of questions, so you're welcome to call me directly. My mobile number, 704-351-7979, or you can email me, robert@rjrlaw.com. Thank you.